RBN, we connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
My name is Akio Sakiodo.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. I go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out
Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it well down.
Leave it like that.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Rapid TV News. I am Nathan Williams. In the headlines, Tinubu calls for green financing as Nigeria commits to climate action in Abu Dhabi. United States delivers military supplies to boost Nigeria's fight against terrorism. Dangote refinery now supplying Nigeria's petrol as marketers report steady fuel flow. Uganda's Museveni seeks seventh term after nearly 40 years in power. Plus, in sport, Michael Carrick named Manchester United caretaker manager. Details of this and more will come to you in the bulletin. Do stay with us. Thanks for joining us on Rapid TV News. And now the news in details. As global leaders gathered in Abu Dhabi for the 2026 Sustainability Summit, President Bola Tinubu highlighted Nigeria's unwavering commitment to climate action and sustainable development. Speaking at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center, he called for deeper access to green financing, urging international partners to support Nigeria's energy transition and climate resilience effort. He also stressed the importance of technology transfer, innovation and artificial intelligence in advancing green efficiency and delivering sustainable energy to underserved areas. Furthermore, President Tinubu outlined Nigeria's climate investment goals, including mobilizing billions in green finance and implementing projects to achieve net zero emissions by 2033. Recalling regulatory strides taken in 2025, he emphasized the link between climate action, economic growth and social inclusion. With initiatives like the National Carbon Market Aviation Policy and the Modernized Electricity Framework, he assured that Nigeria is committed to sustainable energy, access and fostering partnership that aligns climate priorities with national development. In a continuation of his Abu Dhabi address, President Bola Tinubu reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening ties with the United Arab Emirates. He said the partnership would boost trade, unlock sustainable investment and enhance cooperation in renewable energy, aviation, logistics, agriculture and digital trade. Tinubu also announced plans for a joint Nigeria-UAE forum in Lagos, bringing together investors and policymakers to turn opportunities into real investment. Moreover, he emphasized that this partnership aims to ensure inclusive growth, gender equality, youth empowerment and job creation, embedded across climate and sustainable programs. By reinforcing these economic and environmental initiatives, Nigeria positions itself as a hub for innovation and responsible investment, while fostering long-term prosperity for both nations. For many residents of the Federal Capital Territory, 2025 has been a year of mixed fortunes. While some are grateful for good health and new opportunities, though tough economic continues to bite. Even with a slight drop in food prices, low purchasing power means many families are still struggling to cope. Our correspondent, Josephine Petrus, now reports.
The year 2025 was a mixed bag globally, with a landmark pandemic agreement, ongoing conflicts, and key elections in Germany and Australia driving geopolitical shifts alongside tech breakthroughs. In Nigeria, the year was marked by major economic reforms, efforts to stabilize the foreign exchange market, worsening insecurity with banditry and terrorism, recurrent grid collapses, and celebrations for its 65th independence, all set against a backdrop of rapid digital growth and challenges like devastating flood. For residents of the FCT, the year has been tough economically, with many struggling to cope with the rising cost of living, yet amidst the struggles, they are counting their blessings.
2025 is very hard for me and my family. In short, Nigeria entirely. Why? Because things are very, very expensive. They were very, very expensive. For instance, food is something that no one can do without. We need food to survive, and it's the same food that was very, very expensive.
2025 it has been very boring to me. It has been very boring to me. Business is not moving. When we buy, Tinubu said this thing have come down, and we don't even see the reaction. When we go to market, we see something very hard, and when we sell it, we do not see our money. So it is very, very boring to me. I did not enjoy 2025 at all.
2025 being boring, very bad to me. The worst part is that they promise us that the youth are leaders of tomorrow. Since when they give us this promise, we have not seen it. Like last year, 2025, we would not find it difficult to eat, even for transportation, even for where we are doing our businesses. In terms of fuel price, in terms of what we do, everything is cost. Food that we eat is cost. Water that we drink is cost. Everything that we do in this country is money.
You had me well. Through where do everybody had enough work, money, fuel, everything is scarce. The grass said nobody chopping in this year. If you want to go balance 200, 300, 600, 100,000, 200,000, I go feed bill and buy something to eat.
It's not easy. The 2025, all about struggling, but at the end of the day, we still glorify the name of God because we are alive.
2025, I no lost anybody for that 2025.
But they are holding on to hope, fingers crossed that 2026 will bring relief and deliver on some of the government's promises.
My expectation 2026, let food stuff go down at least, not only food stuff, other things also, because if they said something should go down, as the price of things should go down, it should go for everything, not only food stuff.
My expectation is that make things just stay okay. As he promised us, make things just stay okay for us. So that
my expectation in this 2026, we are not hoping on government. Let me just tell you the real fact. I believe in my hustle. Understand? I believe that if my hustle pays well this year, I will rise again, because for we to talk about government, they promise us, keep promising, here and there. Still, you will not see anything.
I'm a 2026. Let us go and make our president to make it easy for everybody.
2026, I expect things to improve, to get better. But for things to improve, you have to work it out also. So I'm doing my part. I'm putting my input so I can achieve my expectations for this year. I'm very, very positive about it. I expect things to improve and get better.
My expectation is make price of things come down. Also, like fuel, because we know that the problem of this country, anytime fuel increased, everything increased.
And I still believe that this 2026, by the grace of God, as I see the earth be, So God will still do it for us.
The people are holding on to hope that 2026 will bring better welfare, with security, education, and healthcare getting the attention they deserve. In Abuja, Josephine Bitrus, Rapid TV.
As Nigeria steps into the 2026 new year, citizens across the country are reflecting on the challenges that shape the past and the priorities that must define the future. From the economy to security and governance, many Nigerians say urgent action is needed. In Lagos, residents have been sharing what they believe should be at the top of the government agenda in the months ahead. Our correspondent Esther Omelo brings us their voices.
On fuel subsidy, unfortunately, the budget that I've glimpsed before I assume office, and what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
This was the inaugural speech of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that shook the entire nation. This marked the beginning of other policies, pronouncements, and reforms. From the removal of fuel subsidy to foreign exchange market unification, floating of the naira, decentralization of electricity sector, and many more. These policies, though with good intentions, did not happen without serious challenges, causing untold hardship. After 2 years of this administration, the big question is, has these reforms, policies impacted positively on the lives of the citizens?
It's the beginning of another calendar year, and the leadership continues under the renewed hope agenda. What are the areas that Nigerians would want this current administration under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to focus on in the year 2026? Now, there are several sectors. There's education, health, agriculture, infrastructure, security. There are several sectors. But what are the areas particularly that Nigerians would want this current administration to focus on in 2026?
Security is the priority. I think our president needs to do more about the situation in the country. The insecurity in this country is everybody focus on it. I think our president needs to do more about insecurity.
Even every single child in Nigeria understand that the country is under, a serious threat by the terrorists, insurgency, insecurity, and so on, inflation, and so. So the president should understand that the safety and life of property is one of the permanent, a responsibility of any administration, provide life and property, in which Nigerians have been clamoring for over the years.
Mostly security. Because security is really terrible in Nigeria. We don't have a good security. So even apart from northern part of Nigeria, at least, let's say all the Nigeria, there's no security. You understand? So that is the area that I know that they should focus on.
For Lucky, he says he does not see the government prioritizing governance in 2026, describing this year instead as one in which politicians will be focused on positioning themselves ahead of the 2027 electioneering period.
If I beat my chest and said this year that we're going to do anything, nothing. Because one, this year is for electioneer politics. Already, since last year, they have been singing 2027. Everybody defected to our party. Nobody's thinking. My people who voted for me at 2023, what have I done to them? Nothing.
Nigeria faces significant security challenges. The Global Terrorism Index ranks Nigeria with a score of 7.575, one of the countries with highest terrorism threats worldwide. With 2027 drawing closer, the coming year may test the government's ability to balance leadership with political ambition. Esther Omelo, Rapid TV, Lagos.
In security developments, the United States has delivered military supplies to Nigerian forces to strengthen operations against terrorist and violent extremist groups. AFRICOM announced that the shipment reinforces shared security partnerships, complementing intelligence and defense cooperation between the two nations. Last November, a Nigerian delegation led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu met United States officials to discuss deeper collaboration, humanitarian support, and early warning systems for vulnerable communities. The federal government affirmed its commitment to civilian protection while rejecting misleading narrative about sectarian violence. Both countries also agreed to establish a joint working group to coordinate future cooperation, ensuring a unified approach to counter-terrorism effort and reinforcing trust between Washington and Abuja. A report by the New Humanitarian says United States military strikes carried out on December 2025 killed 155 Lukarawa terrorists in Sokoto State. The report also claims that about 200 more fighters were missing in the days following the operation, which was reportedly conducted in collaboration with Nigerian authorities. According to the report, Tomahawk missiles fired from a United States Navy destroyer in the Gulf of Guinea targeted areas in Isa, Tangaza, and Tambua, although Tangaza is known as a key Lukarawa stronghold. However, the group later attacked Birning, Yari, and Kebbi states on December 31st, killing at least 21 civilians. The strikes focused only on Lukarawa, leaving other jihadist groups like Boko Haram and Ansaru untouched. Benue State Police have confirmed an attack in Otobi, Otukpo local government area in which 4 people were tragically killed. The incident, which occurred in the early hours of Tuesday, followed a forward kidnapping attempt on Sunday and ongoing tensions in the community. Among the victims is a former House of Assembly candidate, Ibabe Uchi. Authorities assure that investigations are underway and efforts are being made to bring the perpetrators to justice. Community sources note that the area has been repeatedly targeted by suspected herdsmen following previous deadly attacks in April and May 2025, underscoring the urgent need for enhanced local security measures. In another development, the Benue State Police have arrested 41 suspects in connection with alleged illicit activities in Makurdi following report of secretive operations along Awe Street in Wurukum. The arrest came after social media accounts and eyewitnesses described disturbing cases involving abductions and coercion of young victims. The police public relations officer DSP Udeme Edet confirmed the arrest and said raids were conducted across multiple black spots to screen suspects and dismantle criminal networks. Authorities reassured the public that investigations are ongoing and appropriate actions will follow. Meanwhile, following violent protests in Ekpoma, the Edo State Police Commissioner has replaced the local divisional police officer CSP Tomofe Nwabweze assumes the role, replacing DPO Nelson Ibinuwa as part of ongoing security restructuring in Esa West local government. The action comes after demonstrations over rising insecurity, which escalated into attacks on local market and the palace of the Onoje of Ekpoma. The police command assures residents that the measures are part of a broader strategy to restore peace, prevent further unrest, and safeguard the community. The Federal High Court in Abuja has returned the case of the Bauchi State Finance Commissioner Yakubu Adamu, accused of financing terrorism, back to the Chief Judge for reassignment. Adamu and 3 co-defendants face 10 counts of alleged money laundering and terrorism funding relating to $9.7 million. The court ordered accelerated hearing, though no prosecution lawyer appeared on Tuesday. The EFCC has indicated that the trial will continue once reassignment is completed. The case highlights the judiciary's role in ensuring transparency and adherence to due process in national security-related prosecutions. The Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, has condemned Katsina State release of about 70 suspected and convicted bandits, warning that it undermines justice and security. In a statement, CNG National Coordinator Comrade Jamilu Aliyu Taranchi said the move sends a dangerous signal that violence pays, justice is negotiable, and the state lacks resolve. CNG stated that peace based on appeasement is neither sustainable nor just, calling for respect for judicial process. The group urged the federal government to intensify anti-banditry measures, emphasizing that northern Nigeria deserves peace with dignity and leadership that upholds the rule of law. CNG stressed that security solutions must be rooted in justice, not compromise. A federal high court in Ado-Ekiti has nullified the nomination of Dr. Wole Oluyede as the People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate, citing irregularities in the party's primary election. The court directed the party to conduct fresh primaries following complaints that the approved delegate list had been manipulated on the day of the exercise, undermining transparency, fairness, and internal democracy. In response, PDP officials expressed confidence in their legal team's ability to appeal the judgment, insisting that the party remains focused on preparing for the June 20 governorship election. Meanwhile, the PDP has emphasized that campaign activities and grassroots mobilization across the 16 local governments will continue without interruption. Party leaders confirmed or framed the judiciary decision as part of the democratic process and reaffirmed their commitment to resilience, unity, and engagement of voters at the community level. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has inaugurated its Northeast Zonal Congress Committee in Gombe State as part of effort to strengthen party structures and promote internal democracy across the region. At the ceremony, Engineer Patience Alex was appointed chairperson of the committee, while Mr. Abayomi Adekunle assumed the role of chairman of the Zonal Appeal Committee, tasked with ensuring fair processes and effective dispute resolution within the party. In his address, the ADC National Chairman Honorable Nafiu Balagombe called on prominent national figures, including former presidents, senators, and other experienced leaders to lend their expertise to the party's mission. ADC reiterated its commitment to providing a credible platform for good governance, national unity, and sustainable development, emphasizing that the party seeks to offer Nigerians an inclusive and competent alternative for leadership at both the regional and national levels. The wife of the governor of Abia State, Priscilla Chidinma Oti, has visited several motherless babies' homes across the state, donating food items, sanitary supplies, and 1 million naira to each facility. During the visit, she reaffirmed her commitments to child welfare, declaring that every Abia child matters and restating the government's resolve to eliminate baby factories and curb child exploitation. Our correspondent Faith Kevin reports.
It was a day of quiet surprises in Abia State, one that began like any other for the children of the motherless homes, yet ended with hearts a little lighter and hope a little stronger. Without prior notice, the First Lady of Abia State, Priscilla Chidinma Oti, arrived at the gates of some of the state's most vulnerable institutions. Her first stop was the Seventh-day Adventist Motherless Babies Home in Aba, followed by the Ngwa Road Motherless Babies Home and the Victims of Need Social and Motherless Babies Home. Standing among the children, Priscilla spoke from the heart. She said the outreach was inspired by the spirit of the new year and her steadfast commitment to ensure that no child, no matter how vulnerable, is forgotten.
The Yuletide season is a season of giving, of sharing, particularly with the less privileged. So even though we have been working with the charity homes in the state, like I said, we're partners. They provide very vital support to us through the Ministry of Women Affairs. So they are really special to us.
Beyond the gifts, she highlighted a deeper mission. The Abia State government, through the Ministries of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation and Social Protection, is actively working to dismantle baby factories and fight child trafficking and exploitation in the state.
It gives me so much joy to come and share this in the spirit of the Yuletide season, which is about giving, sharing love and gifts with our fellow human beings, and particularly the most vulnerable among us.
That day, the halls of these homes were filled with more than rice, pasta, and toiletries. They were filled with hope, recognition, and the reminder that in Abia, No child is ever truly alone. Faith Kevin reporting for Rapid TV News.
The Kubo and Mabuchi transport terminals were unveiled last year with high expectations of transforming Abuja's public transport system. But months after their commissioning by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the facilities remain closed and unused. The delay has left many residents frustrated, especially commuters who had hoped the terminals would help reduce traffic congestion and curb so-called one-chance crimes. Our correspondent, Godwin Amunde, visited the site and found them locked and deserted. Residents are now urging the government to activate the terminals, pointing to the economic and security benefits they could bring.
This is the Kubo Bus Terminal commissioned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2025. It was to commence operations on or before 2025, but as we speak, the place is still under lock and key.
The Kubo Bus Terminal in Abuja, commissioned by President Bola Tinubu in June 2025, has remained inactive for over some months now. The terminals, both at Kubo and Mabuchi, were designed to process over 10,000 passengers daily and accommodate 120 buses and taxis. Was meant to alleviate transportation challenges and curb one-chance crimes in the capital. This state-of-the-art terminal is the first of its kind in the FCT and Nigeria, boasting modern facilities to provide comfort for travelers. Once operational, the Kubo and Mabuchi terminals are expected to create massive job opportunities and function 24/7. During the commissioning, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike promised operations would commence in 2025. Unfortunately, the facility remains under lock and key. Residents have expressed disappointment, citing the terminal's potential to address transportation woes and improve livelihood.
As I feel, the thing they make me a day discouraged as they ever start on. My one prayer say may they start on this month or next month. If not, we saw the thing get as it be. If people might come there, say well they never start on.
So I'm sure if the place is fully taken off, they're fully taken up, for sure we are going to benefit from it. People will come all over the places, and from there we'll be able to get whatever we can get as well.
Yes, according to what we are hearing, that they are looking for people that will manage it, and we are happy because if it's function, we too are going to benefit, because if you can look the way country it is, things are not moving. But we know that if they bring their car, things is moving well, buy and selling, people will patronize us. So we are expecting them to be working.
We're not happy at all, because this is since last year, supposed to be work by this time. Just be like rest of many. Find place like this and nothing they did. Only security there, even common light where they use fresh water here now, NEPA cut the light. So no water, nothing, it's only security. So all of us, we live around here, we're not happy with that.
Attempts to speak with Mandate Secretary of Transport, Architect Tom Uboku Nya, were unsuccessful as he declined to comment. The delay in opening the Kubo and Mabuchi terminals may worsen one-chance crimes as they may continue to thrive without safe and regulated transportation hub. The delay would also attract more vehicles on the road, leading to traffic jams and frustration. Residents now appeal to the FCT minister to ensure the terminals commence operations, serving their intended purpose of curbing one-chance crimes and alleviating transportation challenges. Abuja, Godwin Amunde, Rapid Television News.
You're still watching Rapid TV News. Still to come, Dangote Refinery now supplying Nigeria's petrol as marketers report steady fuel flow, plus foreign and some sports stories. That will be after this break.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nightcom Sat On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. And I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories, ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation, every weekday at 7 p.m. only on Rapid TV.
From the heart of Africa, where dreams are born and passion is boundless, a new wave of talent rises. In La Liga, these extraordinary athletes are not just playing the game, they're transforming it.
Danny Rodriguez, the man chasing, it's Lamine Yamal! What a magnificent goal that
They
is!
shine on the world stage. Watch as they redefine football, inspire millions, and make history. La Liga, where dreams become reality.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impacts they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NAS Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
My name is Faith Dafa Joseph. Name is Martha Alu.
My name is Victor Arki.
My name is Divine Alex.
My name is Esther Omen.
My name is Arthur James Brooks.
My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bitru.
I bet you already know that this is
Rapid Television.
Thanks for staying with us on Rapid TV News. Moving on to business, Nigeria's tax reform agenda has drawn attention at the J9C anniversary lecture, where tax experts and business leaders examine how recent changes to the tax system are reshaping the economy. Discussion centered on the impact of the reforms on businesses, particularly small and medium enterprises, highlighting both emerging opportunities and growing concerns. Speakers also stressed the need to address public misconceptions surrounding the reforms, noting that effective execution will be key to building trust and achieving long-term stability. Our correspondent Faith Oyewole reports.
Nigeria's ongoing tax reform has taken center stage at the J9C anniversary lecture, as experts and members of the business community gathered to discuss the country's current tax reform agenda and what it means for citizens and businesses. The lecture focused on enlightening the public on the realities of tax reform and how it affects businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, both positively and negatively.
I personally see that we're on the right course
There's no society that don't pay tax. But I think there's a lot of misinformation about this tax. It's not properly explained or broken down to the people. The summary of it all is that this tax is not only for the benefit of the government, but it's really for the benefit of the people, especially the low-income earners.
Before now, no manufacturer in Nigeria is paying less than 63 taxes to the 3 tiers of government. But you now have a reform that is going to bring it less than 10. In the first instance, apart from the administrative cost and the distraction that it has become for us, we are glad that we are dealing with less headache.
Smaller business are going to have tax relief, which is very good, especially if they're enlightened and they know what to do. The negative effect is that the rich may have to pay more in terms of taxes, and that's another issue that must be dealt with.
For small businesses, especially businesses with very low turnover, our government has said they're exempted, but they need to file. To that extent of filing, they might need to have support because many of them are not literate. CPPE has already mentioned that. KPMG has also said the implication on capital gain and what that may lead to capital flight for Nigeria. To a large extent, I think it might have some effects. It might not be good enough on small businesses, but for the exempt, it will be good enough for them.
The tax reforms are obviously the next one to ensure that the 2% of the population who earn humongous amount, either as individuals or as companies, pay the requisite things so that you and I, who are on the lower rung, and of course the small businesses, enjoy better. I think the whole idea is to streamline things.
With widespread misinformation surrounding the tax reform, educating the public has become crucial. This informed the theme of the lecture, Nigeria Tax Reforms Act 2025, Early Realities, Emerging Challenges and the Road Ahead.
We figure that the tax being paid, in no way is it directly benefiting us. So we don't say you need to pay. And that's valid. So the first thing is to use this platform to disabuse the fear. Now, no, government is not trying to tax us too much. No, government is trying to expand the tax net.
As Nigeria pushes for sustainability, experts and business owners agree that successful tax reform will depend not only on policy, but also on effective implementation and public trust. Faith Oyewole, Rapid TV News.
In a major development for Nigeria's fuel market, independent oil marketers say they are now sourcing all their petrol supplies from Dangote Refinery and Petrochemical, effectively reducing the need for imports. According to Chinedu Akadike, Nigeria National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, supply chains are stable, prices have dropped, and there is no shortage of fuel. He added that Dangote has opened direct supply channels to marketers, making distribution faster, more competitive and more affordable, especially during peak demand periods like the holiday season. However, some marketers maintain that imports remain necessary to secure stock and prevent scarcity, given that domestic refining capacity is still ramping up. Others explain that imported fuel serves as a buffer to avoid shortages and that factors such as port congestion, pipeline issues, and trucking costs will affect nationwide distribution. Meanwhile, Dangote Refinery has reiterated that it continues to operate at full capacity, supplying over 50 million litres daily, with plans to provide 1.5 billion litres monthly to meet domestic demand. Up next, more business report coming your way.
This is the Business News Update. I am Josephine Bitrus. Today, we begin with Nigeria's private sector as companies adjust strategies for the 2025 business year. Business leaders say cost management remains a top priority in 2025. Energy, logistics, and financing expenses continue to weigh on operations. Several firms are scaling investments while monitoring economic conditions. Manufacturers report cautious production plans for the first quarter, service sector businesses are focusing on efficiency and digital expansion. Analysts say private sector confidence will shape overall economic performance. Still in Nigeria, attention turns to government borrowing and debt management. Public debt levels remain a concern for investors and economists. Debt servicing costs continue to consume a large share of revenue. Authorities say borrowing is being managed to support growth projects. Experts warn that weak revenue growth increases fiscal risks. Calls are growing for improved transparency and debt efficiency. Analysts say sustainable debt management is key to economic stability. And on the international scene, global trade and markets opened the year cautiously. Global trade flows showed signs of slowing amid economic uncertainty. Major economies are grappling with inflation and growth concerns. Commodity prices moved unevenly across energy and metal markets. Shipping and logistics costs remained volatile. Investors continued to assess geopolitical and policy risks. Analysts say global conditions will influence emerging market outlooks. And that's the business news update. For more stories, follow us across our digital platforms. I am Josephine Petrus. Have a very good evening.
Away to the foreign scene now. We begin from East Africa, where Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni is seeking a seventh term in office after nearly 40 years in power. The 81-year-old leader, who first rose to power in 1986 following the military insurgents, remains a polarizing figure. While hailed for ending the Lord's Resistance Army insurgency and tackling the AIDS epidemic, his government has been plagued by corruption, limited access to education and economic inequality. Museveni faces main opposition from 43-year-old pop star Bobi Wine, though analysts say victory for Museveni is highly likely despite growing concerns about succession and his advancing age. Throughout his tenure, Museveni has cultivated strong foreign ties, welcomed refugees, and attracted investment in Uganda's oil sector. Yet, critics argue he has concentrated power within a loyal circle, sidelining veteran politicians and fast-tracking his son's military career. Political observers know that the election's outcome may signal either a continuation of Museveni's long rule or the start of a gradual leadership transition. But for now, the president remains determined to maintain control of Uganda's political landscape. Let's now take you to the foreign scene for more global updates.
Hello and welcome to tonight's Rapid TV International News. First, to the International Court of Justice in The Hague, where they are hearing the Gambia's case against Myanmar, accusing the Southeast Asian nation of genocidal policies aimed at erasing the Rohingya Muslim minority. The International Court of Justice (ICJ) proceedings launched in 2019 mark a landmark confrontation over allegations that Myanmar deliberately sought the destruction of the Rohingya population. Myanmar has repeatedly rejected the charges, saying its security operations targeted militants rather than civilians. On Monday, the Gambia's Foreign Minister Dawda Jallow told the ICJ that credible reports document the most brutal and vicious violations imaginable inflicted upon a vulnerable group. He noted that thousands of Rohingya were killed and more than 700,000 fled to neighboring Bangladesh during a 2017 military crackdown. Jallow argued the Rohingya had faced decades of appalling persecution and that the subsequent actions represented continual genocidal policies meant to erase their existence in Myanmar. A UN-backed 2018 report urged investigations into genocide and crimes against humanity by top military figures, though Myanmar dismissed the findings. The ICJ hearings will continue this month with witnesses, including Rohingya survivors, though sessions are closed to the public. And now to Ukraine, where it was reported the year's most intense missile attack early Tuesday at Russian forces targeted multiple sites killing 4 people and injuring several others. Emergency power cuts were imposed in Kyiv after damage to infrastructure, with Ukraine now indicating the grid had to be stabilized during these strikes. Kyiv's military administrator, Tymoshenko, described the attack as short but intense. Officials said the strikes also affected energy infrastructure elsewhere. DTEK, a private Ukrainian energy company, said equipment at one of its thermal power plants sustained heavy damage. Since the February 2022 invasion, Russia has repeatedly targeted Ukraine's power system with missiles and drones aiming to disrupt electricity and heating during winter as Ukrainian defenses work to intercept incoming strikes. Telegram channels report about 20 ballistic missiles launched in roughly an hour, though Reuters could not independently confirm the figure. In Kharkiv, regional governor Oleg Snehobov confirmed 4 deaths and 6 injuries after a strike on the city's outskirts, with the state emergency system detailing damage to a postal terminal and several fires across 500 square meters. In Odessa, 5 people were injured. To Kryvyi Rih, 2 were hurt as attacks damaged homes, infrastructure, and gas pipelines. Now to the U.S., where finance ministers from the G7 and other major economies gather in Washington to discuss diversifying away from China for rare earth and other critical minerals. The meeting, convened by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, included officials from Japan, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Canada, United States, and observers from Australia, Mexico, South Korea, and India. Attendees from the U.S. include the trade representative and representatives from the Export-Import Bank and the J.P. Morgan. No joint statement was issued after the discussions. The Treasury describes the talks as a step forward securing and diversifying supply chains for critical minerals, with an emphasis on prudent de-risking rather than decoupling from China. A U.S. official indicated encouragement for increased efforts to reduce reliance on Chinese rare earth amid ongoing export controls. Japanese Finance Minister Sasuke Katayama reported broad agreement on reducing dependence on China, outlined short, medium, and long-term policy options to bolster non-Chinese supplies. Proposals mentioned include prior floors, public finance support, tax incentives, and tariff measures, alongside enhanced recycling and standards. The EU, which with its member states accounts for a large share of demand, stressed the need for faster action to strengthen domestic supplies and regional partnerships. Thanks for watching. Have a very pleasant evening. I am Cynthia Agbo. Rapid TV News continues.
The 9th edition of the All Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, took place from Wednesday, January 7th to Sunday, January 11, 2026 in Lagos, Nigeria. Each year, AFRIMA celebrates Africa's musical talent, creativity, and cultural heritage, offering a platform that recognizes achievement across the continent. Over time, the awards have grown to reflect Africa's diversity in music, from mainstream Afro-pop to alternative, hip-hop, and inspirational genre. The ceremony marked the grand finale of a week-long celebration of African music and culture in partnership with the African Union Commission, the federal government of Nigeria, and the Lagos State government as host city. Our correspondent Esther Omelo has the details.
Lagos, the center of excellence, reverberates tonight. This is the biggest music celebration. This is the 9th edition of All Africa Music Awards 2026, happening right here at the center of excellence tonight to celebrate creativity, innovation, and the growth that has happened in the music industry across the African continent. My name is Esther Omelo, and this is Rapid TV.
It's the beginning of the award season, and it was an unforgettable night as the biggest stars in African music gathered in Lagos for the All Africa Music Award. The award night started with red carpet interviews with nominees and performing artists.
Yeah, it's time for Africa. The world knows it, and much more is going to happen. You know, African sound has grown, has traveled, but it's not the end. I really trust that it's not the end. You're going to have more voices. New voices. It's not just the voices you've heard. even newer voices are going to pop up, and the world should get ready.
Particularly for African music and African sound, we've come a long way. If you look at the sounds that were topping the charts 10 years ago, and then you compare them to what we have now, means we've gone a long way. Myself included, the kind of music that I used to make compared to what I make now, we see progress, clear progress.
It's been amazing. I've been with them. I remember I've been with them solely to perform for them later the group again solo. I remember I did Ghana with them, we did Senegal together. My brother then was here again, I'm here. It's been amazing, it's the culture, and everyone is loving it.
The 9th edition of Afrima was hosted by Fowles and Kenyan actress Claudia. The event kicked off with electrifying performances by African music stars Fino, Shali Poppy, Pato Rankin, King Madi, Yemi Alade, Juma Jux, and many more. Nigeria's presence at the 9th edition of Afrima was felt with Rema bagging 3 awards, including Artist of the Year, Best Male Artist in Western Africa, and Best African R&B Soul.
To be honest, most especially, I want to give a big shout out to the fans, because I wouldn't be here without you, And I know everybody out here, they saw me grow up since I was 19, since I drove to Maybe, I'm 25 now, I don't know.
Shali Poppy taking home Song of the Year and Best African Collaboration for Lahore alongside Burna Boy. Juma Jux for Best Male Artist Eastern Africa. Wendy Shea, Best Female Artist Western Africa. Caesar, Breakout Artist of the Year.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting this, so it is really overwhelming. I am so grateful to God, and I think it's really a great experience to visit Nigeria for the first time and then go home with an award. I mean, it couldn't have been better.
And I'm out here in Lagos, my second home. I just won Breakout Artist of the Year. So yeah, man, all praise to God and everyone who supported me throughout the journey. And this is first of many. And yeah, man, it's going to be a beautiful journey ahead.
The 9th edition of Afrima showcased Africa's expanding diversity in musical styles, highlighting the rise of artists who are bridging culture and connecting audiences across the continent. Esther Omelo, Rapid TV, Lagos.
Next is the entertainment segment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment segment. This is where we bring you the stories making headlines in entertainment, keeping you informed, engaged, and up to date. I am Grace Welts Charles. Hollywood's biggest star lit up Los Angeles with the 83rd Golden Globe Awards at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, celebrating the best in film and television from 2025. Before the trophies were handed out, stars turned head on the red carpet, with Tiana Taylor stunning in a bold Schiaparelli gown, Timothée Chalamet rocking an all-black Katia look, and Selena Gomez dazzling in a handcrafted Chanel floral dress. Meanwhile, the night belonged to both bold performances and surprise winners. Tiana Taylor won Best Supporting Actress for one battle after another, while Timothée Chalamet picked up his first Golden Globe for Marty Supreme. Hamnet took Best Drama Film, while Sinners claimed the Cinematic and Box Office Award. On television, HBO's The Pitt and Netflix Adolescents led the wins, proving once again that film and TV shared the spotlight. And with award season now in full swings, all eyes are on who will dominate when the Oscars come calling. And now from Afrobeat to global pop stardom. One of music's biggest cross-continental partnership is about to hit a new level. Afrobeat superstar Davido has confirmed that his long-awaited joint album with American R&B icon Chris Brown will be released in 2026. Speaking to Billboard Arabia, Davido revealed that more than 20 songs have already been recorded, blending Afrobeats, R&B and pop, with a major Europe-African tour planned to follow the release. Meanwhile, their partnership is built on a string of global hits, from Blow My Mind and Shopping Spree to Grammy-nominated Sensational and fan favorite, Davido even co-writes Brown's viral smash Under the Influence, now Brown's most streamed ever song. With both stars riding high, Fans are now counting down to what could become one of the biggest international music projects of the decade. That's entertainment segment for today. Thank you for staying with us. Have a great day. I am Grace Wells Charles.
Away to sports from the English Premier League. Michael Carrick has been named Manchester United's caretaker manager until the end of the season. Formerly a midfielder and club coach, Carrick returns to the Old Trafford dugout at a critical stage as the Red Devils aim to stabilise the campaign and push for a strong finish. The appointment includes arrangements for Carrick's backroom staff and signals the club's focus on continuity and experience during the transitional period. Fans will be watching closely as Carrick takes charge, tasked with providing team performance and maintaining competitiveness in the league. Analysts say his deep understanding of the club's culture and tactical experience could help United recover from inconsistent results and secure key points as the season progresses. In another development, Real Madrid has parted ways with head coach Xabi Alonso by mutual agreement following a run of poor results, including a Super Cup final loss to Barcelona. The club announced that former defender Alvaro Arbeloa has been promoted from the reserve team to take over as head coach. Although Alonso started strongly, Madrid slipped in form and fell behind in the league, with concerns over player relations and dressing room unity. Arbeloa, a former Madrid and Spain international, brings coaching success from the youth and reserve team as the club looks to stabilize and push for silverware. And that concludes Rapid TV News on Rapid TV. But before we go, another look at our major headlines. Earlier we informed you that Tinubu calls for green financing as Nigeria commits to climate action. US delivers military supplies to boost Nigeria's fight against terrorism. Dangote Refinery now supplying Nigeria's petrol as marketers report steady fuel flow. On the foreign scene, Uganda's Museveni's 6th term after nearly 40 years in power. Plus, in sport, Michael Carrick named Manchester United caretaker manager. And that's the size of our package tonight on Rapid TV. Thank you for watching. I am Nathan Williams. Don't forget to join us for more programs on Rapid TV. Have a good evening.